Well, hey, good morning. Happy Sunday morning, folks. Welcome to our very casual Sunday morning show. Now, maybe they're all starting to blend together, and maybe this is as casual as it gets all the time. Because you know my family, you know how things go here. And so, Sunday mornings, it's like, let's have some coffee, let's chat a little bit, let's talk. And here, I haven't even lined up my cameras or my lights or anything. There you go. I just hit the switch and went. So, good morning, everybody. Good to see you, Steph. Nice to see you in here. I know you come in and you hang and lurk in the background, but it's nice to see you, your face, when you actually come into the chat room. Good to see you. Hey, Steve Clark. Master Finn, good to see you, brother. Glad to have you here. Always happy to have you here. Same for you, Susie Q. Good to have you here this morning. Elder Barry, good morning, sir. Great to have you in here. And let's see, who else we got? Who else has slipped in so far? I think that might be it. I don't see Field Guy yet this morning. He might be sleeping in for all I know. So there you go. We're here. I was just sitting out on the front patio talking to my neighbor John. You know, John and Bree, who pop in here every now and then. And so we were talking about, he says, oh, you do a Sunday morning show? And I go, yeah. And, why did I start it? When did it start? And the things we talk about and stuff like that. So we may do some tarot readings this morning if I can find out where my cards are. I thought they were right there. I don't know where they are right now. If we find them along the course of the show here, we'll maybe do some readings today. We haven't done any of those for a long time. So, spanking time, Steph. Oh, I thought that was a euphemism for this is how I'm spanking time. Oh, you mean it's spanking time. It's your birthday weekend or month. Happy birthday, Steph. If we missed it along the way or if it's coming yet, I don't know. So it's nice to have a birthday month. Yeah, tarot readings. If I thought for the longest time, pardon me for digging around here, they were just sitting here on my desk, and I'm not sure where they went to. My kids come in here and mess up my arrangement. They mess up all my stuff, and they like to sit at my desk and use my computer. And let me just see if they're just sitting over here. If I've got them. It's a little black bag with a gold cord on it. I don't see them. We can try some rods too, because I've got the rods sitting up here. These babies. Let's see. I should just ask a question right now. I haven't touched these rods in a few months, but if I just say, are you available to talk with us? Well, there you go. See, that's a yes. They crossed. So let's see. How about this? Is Rainy going to make it into the show today? It's not doing anything. That means that's a big maybe. Okay, will Rainy make it into the show today? It's not going to answer it. So, yeah, I got to get a little warmed up with these. And guys, thank you for whatever responses we get. And so here, let's try something we all know, huh? Is Joe Biden the president of the United States? Well, there, see, that's a yes, but you notice it didn't cross all the way over. It's just kind of like, yeah, he's the president. They're not political. So maybe we'll do a little bit of these today. I'm still looking for my cards. Are they in my briefcase? Let's find out. Let's see if they're in the attaché. So I did have them when I went out of town. Oh, there they are. Voila. Cards. So we'll probably do some readings at some point today. Because that's kind of our roots, going back to why we even started Sunday morning. I was doing tarot readings on Sunday mornings. And so we'll see. We'll get there eventually. Let's see. Steph says, I used my... Here, let me get the comments up here so I can see them better. Steph says, I used my dowsing rods the weekend I was in Gettysburg at the Farnsworth House. And I actually had them move like I'd never seen them. The energy going through them was insane. The Farnsworth House. Yeah, I think you all have probably heard some of the stories of my experiences at the Farnsworth House. The Farnsworth House, where we got... if you're familiar with some of the people in the paranormal world, Mark and Debbie Constantino were there. I was there with Amy Bruni and Aaron Sagers and Ghost Hunters were there. And this is 10 years ago at least. And Mark and Debbie Constantino, which is a very sad story. They are both gone now. For whatever judgment calls we want to place on it, Mark murdered Debbie and then killed himself. And that happened, that was at least 6 years ago now. It was a shock to the whole community. Now, you may have seen Mark and Debbie Constantino. They used to do Ghost Adventures. They would be many times on episodes of that. Their specialty was EVPs, recording EVPs. And so I was there with them, and we got some things on recordings that they did live right there. We had groups that would come in. We were in the downstairs, the basement of the Farnsworth House, Steph. And we got some very interesting stuff. And it was like something out of a movie, the stuff that came across on those recordings. And if you all don't remember, because I've told this story before, I was there with Adam Bly and Aaron Sagers, and we went back into what they called the catacomb, which was behind a big steel fire door off the decorated basement. And you're back into the stone foundations of a part of the house. And Adam Bly is Catholic, very much into the theology of exorcism, although he doesn't perform exorcisms by his own word because he's not a priest, but he teaches demonology and teaches priests about demonology and exorcism. And even though he feels that he can't do them hands-on. And we were back in there, and he picks up messages. It'd be just like a psychic. He would claim it's not psychic activity, it's God speaking to me. And that's, justifications that we give things theologically. And he was picking up that there were children there, that there was a dark entity that was holding these children back from speaking to him. And he's a very soft-spoken guy. He actually said, as he's getting these voices, he says, I'm picking up this dark, and he says, you can't be here. You have to back off. I want to talk to these children. And he felt that his ministry was helping people cross. He says, now, if these people aren't crossed over, he says, it's not our responsibility to try to cross them over. He says, our responsibility is to pray for them and to tell them they can look to God and ask God for help to cross over. That was his theory of all of this. And so we came out of that catacomb area, and they called it the catacombs because the man who owned the Farnsworth House, a guy by the name of Sweeney, his wife, after his death in the 1800s, told the county that he would rape their daughters and they'd have children. He'd bury the bodies in the walls and the catacombs underneath the house. And there were also several Confederate soldiers that were killed and their bodies were placed in the catacomb area. So there's all these little stories. And so we went out, and Mark and Debbie Constantino were doing a EVP demonstration with a crowd of about 10 or 12 people. And we asked them if they'd ask for this Mr. Sweeney to come forward. So they turned on their recording equipment, and they said, if there's a Mr. Sweeney here, We'd like to hear from you. Do you have anything to say to us? Is there anybody else here that would like to speak to us? And they recorded for about 3 minutes or so, and then they played it back. So this is live recording of EVPs, and then they played it back right away. And you hear Debbie's voice asking, is there a Mr. Sweeney here? And on the recording, you hear this really rough voice come across, say, I'm Sweeney, like that. And of course, the crowd that they're demonstrating to had watched her record this just moments before. And then you started picking up in the background, there were these voices of children crying, children calling out, asking, help us, pray for us, save us from the Father, they would say, where they took talking about Sweeney. And then you'd hear this voice that was supposedly Sweeney growling, ah, ah, and he was scaring the children. The children's voices. Hi, Ellie. I'm telling a scary story. Say good morning to everybody. They're all out there. See, they're all here. They're all talking. And so there she is. So what are you up to? You watching
Teddy Bear Park.
Teddy Bear Park? You're going to Teddy Bear Park?
No, you have to take me.
Oh, okay. We'll see what the day is like if we can get over there today.
I'll bike it.
We have to drive all the way to Stowe. You're going to bike there, huh? All right. Yeah, that's only about 20 miles away. So, anyway, as this story goes, on this recording, here, why don't you step out, baby, because I'm going to use some naughty language. And you don't really need to hear that, even though you do from time to time.
I feel like you said it before.
I may have from time to time. From time to time, my children do hear. There, I'm covering my bald spot. There, is that a comb over now? So,
Cut the cantaloupe.
You go right ahead and cut the cantaloupe. Don't cut off your fingers.
I've already cut it before.
I know. So, as this story goes, as this recording is playing back, remember I said when we were in the catacomb section, Adam Bly and Aaron Sagers and I, he was telling this dark entity, you can't be here. You have to go. You have to leave. Let these children speak to me. So now, out of this little 3-minute recording, after you hear the children's voices and the guy said he was Sweeney, you hear a voice call out, Adam Bly. Called him by name. We're standing in the back, leaning on the pillar. I kind of look at him. I go, oh, he doesn't sound happy. Then the voice says, don't you fucking tell me what to do. And it was a little patchier than that, but that's what came up. And we're like, whoa. Adam looks over at me and goes, oh, he's not too happy. He was unshaken by that, though. And then you hear the children crying, almost like screaming, and the growling going on. And then the recording stopped. And there were people in the group that were watching this demonstration. One woman started crying. Another woman said somebody just pulled her hair. And so I came and I put my hands on her shoulders from behind. She was sitting there, and I said, look, all you have to do is tell it to stop. You just demand of it. Don't you touch me. Don't pull my hair. There's nothing to be afraid of. And so this is what went on at Steph, at our experience at the Farnsworth house. And Aaron Sagers and I went upstairs into some of the bedrooms. We felt the presence of a little girl up there. And there were all kinds of things that happened there that night. Adam Bly ended up staying there most of the night. And as he said in the morning, he told us he was praying for these children. And he felt that two of them had been crossed over. Now, I got to qualify that, because you hear a lot of ghost hunting types say, well, we're here to cross over lost souls. Well, that's not our responsibility.
Are you
And I just started. What do you mean, am I almost done? Why? What do you need?
I can't cut the cantaloupe.
Okay, get sister to help you out. Okay. I'm doing radio. Can you come and cut the cantaloupe for me? That's how it rolls here in this house, folks. And so, that was my experience, Steph, at the Farnsworth house. She was still there with Jeremy too, Scotty. 2 children. There were a bunch of children, apparently. There were 2 that Adam said he prayed for them and that they went into the light. God took them. But there were other children there as well. So if you're still getting 2 children, it's one of 2 things. It's either spirits imitating children, and they'll always be there, or it's the remaining children. So it's very interesting stuff as to what happened there. So I didn't see everything that Steph said about, because I saw Matt Finn say creepy times, Steph. Scott Allen is here. And Scott, did you do some stuff like that as well? I'm scrolling back to see if you had said something. Because if you did, I missed it. Because Steph seemed to be asking you a question if you got anything there. I don't see anything from you. I must be missing it. So, you know what, folks? If you want to call in and talk about your experiences, we can do that. Here is the, there, I just pasted the link. If you click on that link, it will get you into the live studio chat. Hi, Rowan.
Hi.
Number 2 has come in.
I'm bored.
You're bored? Okay. Steph, a woman named Mary ever come through? Not that I ever knew. Here's what Steph said. Scotty, did a woman named Mary ever come through while you were there? Do you remember? Or the scent of roses? I don't remember the smelling anything. I don't think anybody ever gave us their name except Sweeney, who came there and said, "I'm Sweeney." You know, in the episode with the children. But hey, Mike Yehudi. Yehudi! Good to see you. And she was there with Jeremy, too, says Steph. This Mary. There's Steve Clark. Howdy, Mike. Anybody I might have missed coming in? And Scotty was saying I was touched in the cellar. My friend Abby was touched in her back in the attic. Yeah, there's a lot of that. I couldn't tell you that I felt the sensation of being touched, but when we were up in the children's bedroom, Aaron Saggers and I felt the distinct feeling that somebody was holding my hand, and we felt activity around us, and so we interpreted that as being children, and but you never know. Here's the thing: you never really know for sure what you're getting, who you're talking to, who's talking to you. So anyway, good morning, Durwood. Good to see you. Scott Allen said I used a pendulum board, and I've used those in the past, and those are very interesting. It's like a Ouija board, only different accoutrements to make it work and spell words out. Odyssey says that's Russ. Russ, how you doing? Good morning. He said that would be the Blessed Mother with the scent of roses. See, now I didn't know that. And so when you get Mary and the scent of roses, that's interesting. I did not know. Macabre Menace Sterling says, I would hold your hand, Scotty man. Well, there it is. I would extend my hand and I'd say, if there's anyone here who wants to touch my hand, or a child, would you like to take me by the hand? I remember saying at the time to the we thought we were speaking to children up there. I said, look, I'm a dad. I have little kids. And at the time, 10 years ago, we had Flynn We didn't have Rowan yet. I think she was still baking in the oven. There she is. There's Ro. Put your head up a little bit, Ro, so people can see you. There she is. So, Steph says, I got a shadow behind me when I was in the rocking chair. Got stuff on Kalis SLS and the REM pod, and the light-up toys were activating during questioning. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that kind of stuff. We did not have an SLS camera back 10 years ago. I think this was in 2010. So this could be 11 years ago that we were there. Out in Gettysburg at the Farnsworth House we're talking about in Gettysburg. So Susie Q says, good morning, Rowan. Hi, she says. If you look at this monitor up here, this will show you where you are on the picture. That's what everybody sees. Right now they see the top of your head.
But
there you go.
On this side, then why does it show me?
Because it's not a mirror reflection. It's showing the picture exactly. See how you can read the letters in the background?
Yeah.
See? Join the U.S. Marines, land, sea, and air. Let's go. Adventure. You can read that because it's reading it the right way, so it flips the picture around. This is what the camera is seeing. So this is my left hand, see? Or my right hand, I'm sorry. Confuse everybody.
The big cantaloupe is mine.
So, all right, the big cantaloupe is yours, Ellie. So, Steph says it was the best investigation so far. The mirror was there, but nothing from it in the cellar. Did you get into what they call the catacomb? There's actually a door off the cellar that if you go inside the door, it's like a broom closet. It's got like janitorial supplies and stuff, but there's a big steel door in the back of that closet. And they had to go get the owner's permission and get the keys from the owner. At about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, they went and got the owner, came down and opened up the catacomb for us because it's not open to the public. So it was very interesting. Yeah, and it was this. You say that was the most interesting investigation you've had, Steph. That was really one of the. I wasn't scared, but it was terrifying in the sense of the information that came across and the stuff that was being said. So that's the Farnsworth House. And folks, if you didn't know, the Farnsworth House was standing there during the Civil War, and Confederate snipers used to go up into the attic, and they'd sit at a window that was it was a narrow window, and they'd sit at floor level. The bottom of the window hit the floor, and they would sit up there as snipers. And there were 5 different snipers, according to accounts I've heard, that were killed up there. And the outside of the house, the brick building, still pockmarked with bullet holes from being shot at during the Civil War. So, good morning, Helene. Good to see you. I hope everyone's doing well, she says. I finally conquered my migraines. The mercury is shooting up past 30 degrees Celsius, which I want to say that's up in the 80s Fahrenheit, but I'm not positive of that. It's estimate, so good. It's your first live Sunday show attendance. Well, welcome, Helene. And for your benefit and anybody else who's viewing that's not necessarily in the chat room, Sunday mornings is very casual. So if anybody wants to call in, if you want to call in and talk about any of this stuff or things that are on your mind, there it is. There is the link in the chat room to get into the studio line, and we can talk. So Macabre said it was over 34 Celsius here today, over in Japan. So I have no idea what the Celsius conversion is. So I can go, let's see. Celsius to Fahrenheit conversion. Let's find out. So if it is 34 degrees Celsius, that's 93 degrees, 93.2 degrees Fahrenheit for all you Americans out there that don't do Celsius. And it was up over 30 which is the upper 80s for Helene. So, hey, Audrey, good to see you. Glad you're here. Macabre said the Olympics begin on the 23rd. Hurry here, Scotty. Drinks on me. Oh, I'd love to. I'm not big into the Olympics, but I'd just love to go visit Japan. I think it'd be a great place to go see. Never been there. You're in Osaka, if I remember correctly. So yeah, there's, if you call in, by the way, I'll see you down below. I sent the link to Raini. Raini, as you know, the Sunday mornings is our show together. Well, she, as you know, has done so much massage, and people order massages at the hotel on the weekends. And so she ends up many times Sunday mornings having to be at the hotel to do massages. And so she's been gone a lot. Then she was at camp with the kids. She'd take the girls to their respective girl camps. And not necessarily girl camps, the age group camps. And then now she's in Alaska. And she'll be there for the rest of the week. She'll be she's either home on Friday or home on Saturday. So I go pick her up at the airport. And I think they're camping today. They went camping. Her sister and brother-in-law, they live, I think, in on-base housing. I might be wrong about that. Whether they're on base or off base, they bought a piece of property up there now, and they were going to look at it. They're going to go fishing. They went to a little carnival last night, so they're up in the camper up there. So yeah, they're up in Alaska. That's closer to you than I am, I think, Macabre. Maybe. You hop, skip, and a jump, and you're in Russia. Just go down the coast, and you're in Japan somewhere. So something like that. There's my broad knowledge of geography over there. Let's see. Yada yada. Matt Finn, working hard. California dreaming. Beach goer. Oh, that's Audrey. Yeah. Sorry I missed the weekly show. I've been working. That's okay, Audrey. You can always catch it in the archive. We've missed seeing your wonderful face here. Let's see. I love geography. I do too. I probably know a little more than I think I know, but there it is. Helene says, can you do a tarot reading for me? Sure, I'll do some card readings here. I don't want that to monopolize all our time together, but here, I want to ask a couple of questions with the rods. Now, since we were talking about some of this stuff with the Farnsworth house, maybe we can talk about, ask some questions about that. Let's see. Now, remember, with these rods, when they cross, that's usually a positive or a yes. When they part, that's a no or a negative response. When they sit still, it's either there's no way to know the answer, or they're not gonna answer that, or it's a maybe. Sometimes you see just a barely they start to cross. That's like a yeah, kind of. So that's what we got when we asked if Joe Biden was the president. It kind of went, yeah, he's the president in position. So yeah, get yours too, Steph. See what's going on. So let's try a couple of these. Let's ask regarding, all right, guys, here we go. I don't know who I'm talking to. I know it's somebody that governs the use of these, controls it. It's energy I also put out. So, all right, I want to ask a question about the Farnsworth house. If you can answer this for me. Is Mr. Sweeney at the Farnsworth house? Here, let's try that again. Is there a Mr. Sweeney spirit at the Farnsworth house? There you go. All right, now I don't have the hollowed out dowels for these to turn. You can see mine are just flat handles like that. And it's the way you place them in your hand. And I don't want to, I could move these if I want. You know, I can just adjust my hands or whatever. but you just hold them still. This is the way I was taught by John Ward. Did John Ward teach me how to dowse? So there you go. And it's crossing into a yes. All right. All right. Let's try this. Are there spirits of children stuck at the Farnsworth house? Look at that. All right. Was it actually Mr. Sweeney that was talking to us on that recording? There you go. Is Mr. Sweeney a dark entity? It says like that. Is the dark entity that called itself Sweeney, is that, I'm going to ask this question, is Mr. Sweeney actually the ghost or the spirit of the old owner of the Farnsworth house? There you go. All right. Yes, did Mr. Sweeney rape and kill his daughters and, yeah, there you go, and kill the babies? Well, there you go. Now, that story, by the way, folks, is a story that Sweeney's wife told the city fathers after his death. She felt that needed to be known, and they exhumed bodies out of the walls in the catacombs in the basement. So, there you go. And Matt Finn, if you're talking disgusting to me, yeah. Macabre, John Ward is a cool guy. He's my dearest friend for many years. Although we have kind of, we haven't parted ways. We just don't talk as much because we don't see each other as much anymore. I haven't been to Egypt now since 2015 was the last year I went. I was supposed to go and be in Egypt at the same time I had my heart attack and the heart surgery. I was supposed to have been there in Egypt. I'm glad that didn't happen to me while I was over there. And not that they don't have good hospitals in Cairo, but you don't want to be 500 miles from Cairo out in the desert doing things and have a heart attack. So, boom, there you go. Do please send my love and blessings to John Ward, Maria, and family and crew, and Jeff Dougherty, too, when you get a chance. I don't talk to Jeff anymore. Haven't talked to him in a couple of years now, year and a half. John Ward, I talk to occasionally. We get the opportunity to talk. It's kind of hard these days. I don't know what it is. They just came back from Egypt a week or two ago, and so they're in Sweden right now. I did send him a message the other day. The way we send messages to each other, I just wrote, brother. And we'll see if he gets back to me when he's got a minute. And so, yeah, thankfully I was stateside. Thank you, Matt Finn. Thank you. And it's hard to know what's going to happen. Maybe it was because I was here that I had the heart attack. Maybe over there, maybe it would have been different over there. I don't know. You never know. So you always ask those questions and you wonder what's going on. So let's see. I'm trying to think. Anybody have any questions you want me to ask using the rods and see what kind of answers we get? Anybody got anything out there you wanna ask a question about? Macabre says, will my online interview go well for my future? All right, guys, here we go. Macabre, Sterling wants to know if his online interview will go well for his future. And okay, I feel like I moved my hand on that a little bit. So, will his interview go well for his future? That's a very strong positive right there. So there you go, Sterling. Intrepid child of Intrepid Radio. A 20-minute cycle, 20-mile cycle for a park is awesome. Bless her. I missed something else there. So, Helene. So, Sweeney the neck cutting barber says Iowa X. Yeah, same name. Isn't that interesting? The barber is Seville. Mr. Sweeney. All right. Here, I'm going to try something here. Let's see if this will work. If I say, Can you point to the statue of Senenmut? There. Right there. Can we do it? Just thank you guys, just for confirmation. Can you point to the statue of Senenmut again? Let's see. You point one more time to the statue of Senenmut. There it is. All right. So I have, now I got the dog at my feet. I almost stepped on the dog. Steve Clark, I talked to Ruben Fasthorse the other morning while it was raining. It was awesome. Yeah, he has a class at 11 o'clock. Now that's 11 o'clock Eastern, I do believe. So I don't know if it's noon Eastern or 11 a.m. Eastern, but that would be in about 20 minutes if it's Eastern time. He's got his online class. Ruben Fasthorse. Isn't that Michael Jackson? I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Elderberry says, will I get floors on the other house done this summer? Okay. Elderberry is asking about the flooring. Will he get his flooring done this summer? You see that? That's a, yeah, maybe. And I think that probably means depends on what you put into it. That would be my interpretation of that. So noon Eastern, says Steve Clark. So yeah, so an hour and 20 minutes from now, after we're done with this show, Ruben has his language course, his show going on. I think you go to tpbuilders.com, TIPI Builders. I think that's where you find the link for that. Scotty, can you ask if you have any spirit of your past animals with you? Who, me personally? Or do you mean you generally? Are you asking for yourself, or generally do our animal spirits of our past pets hang around with us? Is that what you mean, Steph? Not sure when you say you. Oh, Michael Jackson's bust? No, that's Senenmut. Senenmut, you know, I could show you guys this bust up close. Here we go. It's heavy. There you go. Now, there you go. There's Senenmut. And this is, of course, a replica that was made. And if you don't remember the story, John Ward had this made for me because Senenmut is my guy, as you all know, for Moses. And when he had this done up, it was... this is a stone. Where did I have this? Let's move that a little bit. This was a stone that John found in the quarries of Hatshepsut in Luxor. And he walked over there and he grabbed this big rock and he brought it back. And of course, Hatshepsut was the female pharaoh affiliated with Senenmut in his early days, first 40 years of his life. And not the pharaoh of the Exodus, but she would have been. And there are many accounts that said he was romantically involved with her later in his life, but that he also, that she was the young girl, the princess who found him, the daughter of Pharaoh, who found him as a baby in the Nile. And she would have been 7 to 10 years older than he was. And so she was his mother. But then that's why they believe that he was conferred with the name Senenmut by her. She renamed him. And Senenmut actually means mother's brother. I, your mother, am conferring on you the status of brother to the gods with me. And they had a romantic relationship too. So there you go. And so she wasn't his mom. She was his legal mother because she found him. So in the Nile. Russ says, not Senecot. Senecot's a mild laxative. Yeah. Senenmut. Mut is in mot. So, all right. Any other questions? Anybody got anything? If I didn't miss one, if you've got a question you want me to ask with the rods, go ahead and type it in all caps. so I can see it. Let me ask this. I'm just going to say this. Now, this might read right off of me, but if I ask, I don't think I've ever asked this. Is Senenmut, is he the historical Moses? See, now look at that. Now, they're just barely touching. It's either not going to answer that or it's saying, yeah, maybe. Maybe. Keep doing your research. So I believe he was. Is there significance to the shape of the bottom? That squatting positions, hands placed on the knee. Are you talking about the statue? It's just, or is that the one you're talking? Is that what you're talking about, Matt? The statue itself? He's not really squatting. It's just a pedestal with his head coming out, and he's got the head of the princess beneath his chin. Here. So that's what that is. I think a mild laxative is worthy of worship by mankind. It can be. That or fiber. Need more fiber. Please do some. Okay, that's older. Is there a significance? I think, yeah, blah, blah, blah. On we go. He's squatting because of Sunnacut. There it is. There it is, Russ. Squatting because of Sunnacut. So, yeah, the offset of the head is a little odd. Now, this is, if you look at this, if you saw the actual statue of this, when they do these replicas like this, they have to build them a little off proportion so they're not mistaken as actual artifacts. John had to carry this thing through the airports when he came here. And this thing probably weighs, I'm bad at this kind of thing, but I think that this thing probably weighs a good 25 pounds, easy, maybe 30. It's solid stone. So, but there you can see. This is a cheap resin version of the, and this is a slightly different one. Now you see this? There he's sitting with his elbows on his knees, and he's got the young child, Nefruri, the princess, there. So, let me just line that back up. And I've got other statues of Senenmut too. I think I've got one up in, do I have it here? I got stuff, I'd have to take things out from in front, so I'm not going to open up the cabinet and grab anything, but I've got sand from the tomb of Senenmut up in my cabinet here in little vials, and I keep that. I could ask this. Let's see. Is there anything of Senenmut in this room? Can you tell me? Can you point to the sand from Senenmut's tomb? Now the bottom of my hand is stopping that from, I feel it up against the heel of my hand here. So let me try this again. Is there sand from the tomb of Senenmut here? Yes. Can you point to the sand from Senenmut's tomb? Where is it? Can you point to? See, that one just wants to just keep turning. So that's where it is. It's up in that cabinet up there. Glass-faced cabinet. Monkeypox has shown up in Texas. I saw that, Steve, in the news. Steph says, is Scotty going to do a Ticonderoga investigation soon? Oh, I would love to do a Ticonderoga investigation. I haven't been to Ticonderoga since 2001. And I was up there with the Highland Regiment. We were doing the Redcoat thing. We had about 1,200 reenactors, British and French soldiers, French and Indian War stuff at Fort Ticonderoga, upstate New York. Now, I want to go there, too, in Ticonderoga, of all places, is where that guy built the exacting replica of the Star Trek original series sets based on the Desilu blueprints. You can go up and visit that place. So I know William Shatner is supposed to be there, I think, this next week. And we had thought about trying to get up there. No way for us. No way could we get it to work out for logistics and scheduling. That would be an awesome time. James Cawley, that's the guy who built them. Very talented guy. Yeah, you can go look up the Star Trek sets in Ticonderoga, New York, and you're going to see what he built there. It's pretty cool. I think we should all put together a trip and go up there. We should go up there and visit the Star Trek sets and see if we can do a little paranormal investigating at Fort Ticonderoga. I think that would be interesting. IOX says West Point is haunted and they have a bunch of artifacts. Yeah, I've heard that, and I know people have been. Oh, look at that. I got limestone dust on my. Could be sandstone that's carved out of. I have been to the rebuild of Fort William Henry on the shores of Lake George, up in upstate New York. And where were we? What town is that in? I can't remember. Fort William Henry. And if you ever saw the movie, the Daniel Day-Lewis Last of the Mohicans, that version of the movie, there's a scene where the French are bombarding the British fort there. That's Fort William Henry. Now, it was burned to the ground. Montcalm burned that to the ground after he allowed the British to surrender and march out. And all that was left of that fort was some of the foundation, the old fireplace, and something. And they totally reconstructed the fort. But that fort is very haunted. I was picking up EVPs, and I may have mentioned this story before, but I was up there with a group, and I was one of the leaders that was guiding some of the how do you do EVPs and so on. And we're in one section of the fort, and I got voices on the recording right in front of people. I had about 20 people in there. And you can say, oh, with 20 people, it's got to be maybe a little corrupted or somebody was whispering. This was very different. I remember in trying to pick up voices, I remember saying to the room, I said, now everybody be very quiet. We're going to record for about a minute here. And I would call out, I say, I'm going to use some old British Army commands. And so I called out and I asked for anybody present. When we played the tape back, we got a voice that said something like, "Are you my captain?" And everybody was very surprised. And so I asked more questions. I asked what his rank was. And it didn't give a rank, but it came back and it said sentry. And gave us a name that was a little obscure, and I don't remember what it was. And we didn't document any of this. This was just live as we were doing it. So I picked up some voices there. And we started that discussion at the moment that sometimes these spirits are trapped in time. They don't realize they're in a different place in a different time. Some of them. Especially when you get interactivity like that. So, Iowa X says, when students start going on and on about how bad the U.S. is, I tell them to blame the French or the British or the Spanish. The USA did not exist at that time. That's right. Confuses the hell out of them. There you go. Beth Kirkham says smallpox. Is that monkeypox? Is that what that is? Same as smallpox? Francis Scott Key wrote most of the Star Spangled Banner while watching that bombardment. There it is. Yep. Oh, that's not Voices Macabre. That's the TV playing out in the other room for the kids. My studio door is open, so you're hearing living room sounds. I could, as a matter of fact, I'm going to close that door so it's not confusing. So there we go. And my little girl asking, Teddy Bear Park now? She's been bugging me all week to go to Teddy Bear Park, which is 20 miles from here. And it's a park that's all built up. I got to see if it's even open. It's a city park in Stillwater, over where Raini does her massage work. So I don't know that I necessarily want to drive to Teddy Bear Park this morning. So maybe this afternoon, maybe tomorrow. I keep putting it off because I got other things to do other than drive to Stillwater, but it's for the little kids. They enjoy it. Flynn doesn't care so much, but the girls do. Mostly Ellery, so it would be for Ellery. So there you go. There's some of that. I can do a couple of tarot readings. I know Helene asked for one. And so I can maybe do a couple of those. And we'll see. Let's see what we get here. Okay. And where's my window here? I'm going to move my keyboard aside. And so, Helene, are you still there? Yep. Skateboarding girls doing the Olympics from England team, Great Britain. I love to all the Paralympians, also from anywhere, and so on and so forth. So, do you think, I'll ask a political question, do you think if you represent a country that you should support that country if you're in the Olympics? I know there's the whole taking a knee and the woman that was all offended that they were playing this Star-Spangled Banner. But if she's representing this nation, should that be allowed? That's my question. I don't think so. So here we go. And one for Steph, too. I'm not going to do very many, folks, so we'll just see. And if you want one, wait till I'm done, and then so I can look at it. And so I'm going to shuffle these cards for Helene. Now, I haven't done a reading for a long, long time, so we'll see how. I don't think it has to do with whether I'm rusty or not. It has to do with who's delivering the message through the cards. So, do you need something, Rowan?
I'm a little nervous. It's almost 10 o'clock.
No, it's Sunday. I'd wait till noon.
Oh, plus they're at church.
All right. So one more time for Helene. This is doing a reading for you, Helene. And I think I'll just do quick 3-card readings. Now, Helene, if you were here, I would have you cut the deck. So I'll cut this on your behalf. Boom. And you know what? Instead of 3-card readings, let's do 1-card readings, and I can rattle off a few more extra ones. So I'll do a 1-card. Here you go, Helene. This is your card. And this is the 9 of Cups. So the 9 of Cups. Now, Cups is that suit, as we all know, of your passions. It could be romance, the Cups. It could have to do with sorry about that. Could have to do with your relationships. It could also have to do with the passion that you bring to your life. It's a powerful, very positive card. The 9 of Cups here. Let's see if you can see that. And it's talks about lasting contentment, but it also talks about how nothing's permanent. Somewhere along your life's path that you can expect to be truly happy. Well, we all get that. That's pretty vague. It's heavily tied to your creative endeavors, your good wishes for the future. Now, creative doesn't mean you draw pictures and stuff like that. It might just mean the creativity you put in making life happen a certain way. And so in the past, if you put a past spin on this card, it talks about the source of your happiness. Is your soul attaining some kind of peaceful balance. The efforts you've spent are going to bring you reward. So you got to stay strong. You got to keep working at things. In the very present, the emotional and material well-being are at hand in this card. You have to look to your friends for good advice, for support, but you have to recognize you're going to find fulfillment if you look for it. And the thing we have to do about fulfillment, you have to look at it this way. Feeling fulfilled and having things be happy for us, go well for us, we sometimes draw this very big circle. But we take that circle of all the options and opportunities, and we take that circle and we make it very small. And we say, it's got to fit in right here. It's got to be there. But we miss all the other opportunities when we do that. We can sometimes block off happiness, block off fulfillment, block off opportunity by making the target too small. Now, you can be specific. You can visualize and manifest small. Aim small, miss small is the idea. So, in the future read of this card, the goals that you've set for yourself might be down the road away. It might not be today. It might not be tomorrow or even this week. It might be a little bit down the road. And you got to stay true to your desires, your passions. Check with your friends. Look for good advice and support. Reach the destination. You work for the destination. It's like visualization is one thing. Manifestation is another thing. You have to take an active hand in making something happen, is the idea. And so really the card is a card that gives you feelings of joy, of satisfaction, of pleasure, overall contentment with your life. That's what this card represents. Getting to a place of being content. Maybe being content is something you're constantly working on. Something we all work on. So this might say, as you gain that contentment and learn how to be content, that fulfillment comes. And its presence is really indicative of a bright future, brimming with good times, good things, fulfillment, bliss, periods of wishes being granted, and the answer you're looking for. And so on the positive side, the idea with this card is that it's a yes. It's a positive card. Hey, good morning, Corey Blake. Good to see you. So there you go, Helene. I hope that was meaningful. I hope that meant something for you, and that it hit the mark. So Beth Kirkham says, "Oh, Steve Clark, you're right. It's a milder virus with a low death and infection rate." Okay, we're talking about the monkey virus. So there you go. So now we got Steph. Steph, the birthday girl. It's not your birthday today, but it's your birthday month. And there's only about a week left in the month, so a week or so. So let's read for Steph. I'll draw a card for Steph. And we hadn't done this in a while. I was talking to my neighbor John this morning, about a half an hour before the show, and I was telling, this is really how we kind of started Sunday mornings, doing tarot readings. And I did it to promote my tarot, which is part of how I make a living, a little part. And I do a lot of free readings on Sunday and then never get readings during the week, just a handful. So a few of you have. And so after a while, Sunday morning became just doing readings. And so I just stopped it after a while. I wanted to talk about other things. So Steph, this is for you. If you were here, I'd have you put your hand to the deck and cut it. So I'm going to cut it on your behalf. We'll go this way and this way. And what I believe is that something guides the ultimate spread and cutting of the deck. Here we go. All right, Steph, you ready? Here's your card. Boom. You have the 8 of Swords. Let's see if I can get that so the light doesn't shine on it. Now, you might be familiar with the decks, so you might know what that already means. The 8 of Swords, it shows a blindfolded woman who is bound with a cord, and her path is strewn with these 8 swords sticking out of the ground. And it's blindfolded. Now, if you look at that again, blindfolded, bound, the swords as obstacles along the way. Now, if it's very interesting, if you look closely, her hands are not bound. And I believe she's holding a rosary in this picture, which is symbolic of spirituality and religion and so on. And so you see how she's bound? Here's the whole thing with the 8 of Swords. It's a card I've seen that shows that there are blockages in the way. You're trying to move forward, navigate your path, but you can't. There's all these obstacles, the swords sticking up out of the ground. And you're bound, and you're blindfolded. I can't see. You can't see your path. And so you're feeling kind of like, as you just said, it's my own trapping. There it is. Because the blindfold, I always say blindfolds are these things, we craft them out of whole cloth. You go, wow. And then we take it and we put it on and we tie it. And we suddenly, then we say, oh, I can't see. When we've put our own blinders on. And the idea is all you have to do is remove the blindfold and you'll see very clearly how to navigate through this field of obstacles. But how can you remove the blindfold? You're bound with a cord. But I want you to notice something. And I've mentioned this on this card many times. See, she's bound down to the elbow. Her hands are free to move. She's got the spiritual guidance of her rosary or whatever might be yours. And so the idea is if she's only bound around the upper arms, her hands are free. She can bend at the elbows. She reaches up, pulls down the blindfold. Suddenly things become very visible. So the idea with this card is that you have that ability to pull down the blindfolds. You have the ability to move forward. Some things in life feel like they're out of control for you. And this card, it kind of suggests on its surface that you're actively feeling as if you're being held back from something. But this can be something personal. It can be bad choices, a bad boss. It can be as sweeping as international politics, things holding you back. But in any case, you're likely finding that your options are rather restricted at every turn. You can't see the path clearly. You might be experiencing rising frustration, anxiety that comes out of being blindfolded. I know if I was blindfolded and bound and couldn't see where I was going, I'd get claustrophobic. I'd get very frustrated. You have to approach whatever the situation is with patience. You have to be ready to move when the situation changes. You have to be willing to realize that you're only bound by your own bonds. You're only blindfolded by your own blindfold. And sometimes, I got to be honest here, the desire to avoid confrontation, avoiding confrontation, stems from maybe from your desire to not cause other people pain. You might have to deal with a situation or see your way through a situation, but it might cause somebody else some pain, consternation, frustration. And it's an admirable trait to have, but it might prevent you from acting on your best interests. You're at a standstill because of something external to you that you may still have to deal with. It doesn't matter. You have to remember, everybody's got their own kettle of shit to deal with. Or is that kettle of fish? We all have our own shit to deal with. We all have our own kettle of fish. Everybody's got their stuff. And if there's somebody else or something else that's preventing you from moving forward or seeing the way clearly, you have to be the one to loosen the bonds. You have to be the one to pull down the blindfold so you can navigate. And the obstacles that lay before you are only going to be overcome by your patience, by your perseverance, your courage to take care of something. And the demands of other people are locking you up. and they're restricting you from growing. Now, I've had some people say, well, does that mean I should leave my husband or leave my wife? Because they're the one blocking me from doing what I want to do. Not necessarily. It might be something within that relationship that needs dealing with in order for both of you to move forward. Maybe the best thing for you is leaving an abusive relationship. Maybe the best thing for you is working on the relationship, seeing what the obstacles are and working on them together. So you don't have to fear using your own best judgment in these matters. Now, I'm not saying this is about relationships, but swords is the suit of conflict. It's conflict we give, it's conflict we get. So this card is definitely revealing the presence of obstacles, obstructions, difficulties. It shows that there is a fear of failure, not of failure, the fear of failure. Keep the blindfold on, please. Don't remove my blindfold. Then I'll have to see and I might make the wrong choices. The frustration, the constraint that's overriding the tone of this card points toward kind of a negative thing going on. But the positive spin on it is you have the ability to loose the bonds and remove the blindfold. So we're only blindfolded by our own shit. We're blindfolded because we refuse to bend our arms and pull the blindfold down for a various number of reasons. So whatever your situation is, Steph, you're seeing obstacles. You overcome the obstacles by looking at them. It's like the Devil card, which we didn't draw here, but the Devil card is a card that basically tells you that, I was just curious to know if that was another card under the stack. The Devil card is one that says, you look your devils, your demons, your obstacles in the eye, and they run from you. So, there you go. That's you, Steph. Oh, it's relationship. She says. It's right on the money there. Corey Blake's been having interesting dreams lately. Let me ask something on your behalf, Corey, if you're okay. I'm going to use the rods. I'm going to ask, is there somebody out there trying to communicate to Corey through his dreams? Let me start that again. Is somebody out there wanting to communicate a message to Corey through his dreams? Oh, there you go, Corey. That's about as positive an answer as that gets. Is Corey listening to those voices? Look at that. That is a huge positive. So you're being communicated with through your dreams, Corey. And the idea is to listen to those things. So keep a dream journal. And it's almost cliche, people say that. But write some things down. Somebody's trying to communicate with you. And it's saying very positively you're willing to listen to that communication. It could be your inner self, just your subconscious, trying to communicate with you. It could be energies, spirits from without, trying to communicate something. It could be creator or originator or God or whoever you look to, trying to communicate with you. So there you go. I wonder what a card for me might be, Scotty. So be kind of pull a card for us. Here you go, Macabre. Sterling out there in Osaka, Japan. Let's shuffle for you. This is for you. I just dropped cards. I dropped them right off my desk. A bunch of them came out. So here's what I'm going to do. When that happens, I tend to think that the cards that fall are cards that you need to see. Sounds a little fatalistic, but all right. Now, I've got 6 cards here. I haven't got them in an order, past, present, future, current, anything like that. But the first card I saw that was turned up right down there on the floor when it fell was the what is it? The 10. It's the 10 of coins, or the 10 of pentacles, if you will. And the meaning of this card, this card, this is the first one my eyes hit. 10 of pentacles. It's financial security. The coins, pentacles, represent finances and things like that. Emotional well-being. It's a very positive card. That's what this indicates. This is only partially of your own doing, is the idea. Positive aspects of this card are really inextricably bound up in your close relationships with your friends, your family. In some cases, it foretells an inheritance or a windfall of some kind. The presence, it's the pinnacle of the, before you get into the royal face cards, it's the pinnacle of the coins, which represents our material well-being. It says you've been prosperous in your life. That doesn't necessarily mean wealthy. Prosperity can reveal itself in many ways. You're established. You feel like you have a secure base. This is talking about receiving rewards for your efforts, but also due to the position you have in your life, in your circles, with your family. And so you have to really carefully evaluate everything about yourself. An unexpected solution to a difficult financial problem might appear for you. And all the projects you're working on will benefit from that. Now, the interesting thing, what also fell on the floor, and I don't usually do readings this way, you've got the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune simply says what you lose on the downswing, you gain on the upturn. That life is always cyclical. Things keep turning around in a cycle. And when it seems like you're in a bad time, remember, the bad times up here, that's going to fall, and the good times will rise when that falls. It's cyclical. It's a thing that says that right now you've also got the 9 of Swords showed up in these cards that fell off the top. I'm doing this. I've never really done. I'll drop a single card. I've never done a reading off of several cards that I've dropped. I thought, oh, that's an accident. But the 9 of Swords, this is, you see the person sitting up in bed and they see the 9 swords. There's the vicious dog at the foot of their bed. This is all, it's like not night terrors by the psychological description, but the things where you can wake up in the middle of the night and in that stupor think life is so much worse than you think it is, that thing. This is all about the anxieties, the swords hanging over your head, conflict. There's stuff out there. Oh my God. And it's, this card represents waking up in the night, and yet in the morning, after you've slept more, you wake up and you're fully cognitive. You go, oh, well, it's not as bad. This is the idea that we create anxiety for ourselves that is most of the time much greater than the actual outcome of something. So this is saying you might be plagued a little bit by dreams or by thoughts in that stupor, in the haze in the middle of the night, or just in the back of your head during the day. Things that gnaw at you, give you anxiety. This is a card about anxiety and realizing what anxiety causes. Anxiety causes us to worry more about something than the actual outcome. So this is saying you might be plagued by a little anxiety over things. You've got the Four of Cups. You see this guy, this is the idea that you have full cups relationship-wise. Relationship doesn't have to always mean romantic. It can mean your relationships in your family, in your interpersonal relationships. But this guy, he's bored. He's become stagnant with the green fence, the pasture on the other side, the green pasture on the other side of the fence looks so much better. And sometimes it is. But this is saying don't become so focused on wanting to be somewhere else or do something else or make a change to something that you think is better, that you miss all the opportunities that are right in front of you. That's what the 3 cups sitting there and the cup coming down on the hand is supposed to be opportunities from heaven, from God, from the universe. Don't miss those because you're fixated on wanting to do the better thing. This card, the 6 of Cups, This is a card that basically says, don't get trapped in nostalgia. What that means is, sometimes we all look to our past. We go, that negative, icky, crappy, shitty thing that happened to me. You're fixated. I can't do this because of that shitty thing that happened to me back then. Or, life was so much better when it was simpler, when things were back in the past. Now I'm out. The idea is, don't get trapped in the past of nostalgia. Nostalgia can be both positive and negative. Don't get trapped in that, but live in the here and the now. And then the 9 of coins is here. This is the card. The 9 of coins is the card that comes just before the first card you had, which was the 10 of coins. This is the build up to the 10 of coins, to that stuff all falling into place and so on. This represents significant financial reward, but one that's born out of your hard work and your careful planning. And it's a just reward for prudency, prudent actions. Can indicate that time of hardship for you is ending. Maybe a counterbalance. That wheel of fortune, what you lose on the downswing, you gain on the upturn. You might still be searching for companionship. And this is saying that lack of people with whom to share your gains. Saying you might still be searching. You haven't quite reached it yet. So the solution that you've been seeking is going to arrive. And it's going to relieve your stress, your anxiety, your nightmares about things. And there's new challenges waiting for you. So there you go, Sterling. Macabre. This is what I saw to the cards that fell on the floor. So hopefully those mean something to you. They're significant to you. So there it is. You're welcome, Macabre. You're welcome. I hope that means something. It's meaningful. Helene says, we cannot love others unconditionally if we cannot love ourselves too. It's quantum entanglement. Love is the ultimate power of everything. If we don't love ourselves, we attract those who are damaged. That's the truth. Good thought, Sterling. Steve Clark says, Susie Q next for a card. And then one for Morgan Snow. Let's do a card for Susie. I'll shuffle up for you. And I like to shuffle it because it's whatever's in charge of all this, the powers that be, the powers that created the universe, that hold it together on an atomic level, subatomic level, same ones that can manipulate the shuffle of a deck of cards. That's my belief. So I like to shuffle between each one. Here we go, Susie Q. I'm cutting the deck for you. Here we go. Your card is the Ace of Wands. Now, wands, these are our, as opposed to our passions, our relationships, and all this, this is our emotion. Now, it's like I've said, the regarding relationships, you can have passion and you can have emotion. Emotion is that stuff that can change by external stuff. So the ace, however, suggests it's like new business. This whole thing, this is about the stuff that makes you go, wands. It's the emotions that you wrap up in the things that make life work for you. The red that shows in the card represents fire, zeal, exuberance, the excitement of youth. Youthful vigor is the idea. You can be 90 and still have youthful vigor. Look at William Shatner. Prime example. So the ace is always new beginnings, new things starting. So this could be a new enterprise that you're undertaking. It can mean childbirth. You're probably not going to have a kid. So I would say it probably has to do with unless it's somebody very close to you that you're very inextricably linked to that's having a child. It's more about new ventures that you're going to step out on, new things, new ideas to make your life go better, the way you want it to be. You need to harness, however, your potential for innovation, your enthusiasm, your ambition to bring about these successful outcomes that you want. You have to, this card is saying the door's wide open for new things to happen, new creative energies, but you have to re-examine your past goals. You might be limiting yourself, Susie Q. There's inspiration that's building on the inside of you, and it's going to vent its energy destructively if you don't use it creatively. So there's a new beginning at hand, is what this card's all about. It might take the form of a new phase of life that you're entering into, a new enterprise, a new project, a new business, a new source of inspiration. And to succeed, you have to think clearly. You have to plan ahead. You have to be meticulous about thinking about how you're going to get to your goal. You can't be swayed by an emotion on this or a feeling on that. There are sometimes things you just have to step out and do. And without worrying about perception. It's positive new things. Something creative that you're going to be taking on is the idea with this. And so it's also a very positive card. If you've got questions in your mind about something, this kind of a positive outcome is the idea. So hopefully that means something to your situation. Only you're going to know. And I said I would do one for Morgan Snow. Let's do one for you. Morgan Snow, let's see where you're at, what's going on. And now remember, the tarot can be actually pretty invasive. Sometimes it's invasive positively, but with those positive messages, it's invasive negatively, or what we might deem as to be, oh, well, that's harsh. Like even with Susie Q, positive outcome, it's saying, better get a harness on, wrangle your feelings and your emotions, and know where you're going. So, Morgan, this one's for you. See what's going on with Morgan these days. Boom. Okay, Morgan, I cut the deck for you. Here's your card. It's the Eight of Wands. Once again, Wands. Wands is that suit of your emotions. The things that you put effort into, the things that make you go. The things that make you look in the mirror, as I've said before, make you look in the mirror and, damn it, I'm happy to be alive today. It's the zeal, it's the energy, it's the excitement. Again, the red is supposed to indicate that. And so this is a card, in a couple of words, it means all these wands, as you can see on the card, they're pointing upward. And the idea is upward mobility, moving forward, moving upward into something. And this is a card that says, better prepare yourself for an abrupt increase in the pace of your life. Things are about to get really busy for you, according to this card. There's good news that any projects you begin are going to progress quickly. It's going to move fast. If you got an idea and you start implementing it, be ready for things to go and to move. You might experience a few delays, but the conclusion to this is still saying it's successful. Be prepared for things to move quickly, but when things move quickly, you sometimes hit the brick walls. And so, but expect it. That's part of the process. It still indicates that things are going to go the way you want them to go. There's a possibility for travel in this card. Upward mobility, movement, fast things. It's a good card to find yourself being the focal point of. But you have to be willing to buckle down and get to work really quick on whatever this is. There are past goals that you might have had that maybe weren't able to move you forward. So now you're thinking of this change, or a change is being afforded to you, or an opportunity is coming up, whatever it might be, That's going to bring you more of the happiness that you want out of a thing or a new thing or life in general. And it's a struggle that's been occupying you. You're going to start seeing that pass a little bit. And a brief peace is going to follow that because you're going to be, okay, I'm going to move forward now. And so this can be a card of exciting news, brings calmness to your present. You know how you are? Let's say you won. This is just a weird example. I'm just trying to latch onto an example. Imagine you just had $10 million plopped in your lap, and it's going to answer a lot of financial problems. I can breathe now. Cool. Now I don't have to worry about struggling on that thing. Now I got that. This is the idea behind this. It's not predicting money. It's predicting success, ideas, things that are happening that are going to cause you to go, okay, I get it. I can settle down now a little bit. And it's exciting news. It's going to break into the calmness of your present. Now, the discomfort with it is going to be necessary to remove you from perhaps a bit of motionlessness in your present. Many times we have these ideas and we implement them or make them move, and it breaks us from complacency. It breaks us out of the calm a bit and moves us into succeeding something by hard work. And then another new calm comes from that. And so this is a card that can indicate some kind of journey or travel, either metaphorically or physical. Events are going to move quickly. Opportunities are going to arrive unexpectedly. And while you overcome the obstacles, it shows an end to some sort of a delay or a blockage that's in your life. And so it's a very positive card. It's upward mobility, it's movement, end of blockages, as long as you work hard to do that. So there you go. I hope that was meaningful to you. Morgan Snow. So Helene says, thanks so much for the card reading. Just what I needed. My whole life went up in a bureaucratic flame while I was ill this past week. I also saw a shooting star this morning. I have more hope now. Spock might say, I fail to see how a burning asteroid can sway the cotton gravitational pull, could sway something. Well, I think it's just a symbol. Something we see. Might be a natural event that happens. It's like when we talk about the parting of the Red Sea. Could have been a natural occurrence. Moses was opportunistic and used that. Said, God has provided a way. Same thing. So, this is not the Rider-Waite. Everything's kind of based on the Rider-Waite. This is the, I think it's called the Troubadour. It's done by Kat Black out of New Zealand. And so she sent me this deck of cards. I purchased this when it was brand new, 11, 12 years ago. And it got stolen when I was at the Queen Mary back in 2010. It was stolen along with my bag and other stuff out of my room. And so she actually, because she felt bad for me, she took one of her press sheets and had it cut down. This is one of her preliminary sets, and she sent this to me. So that's why I have that deck. So there you go. Thank you, Steph. I am awesome. What's your response when somebody tells you you're awesome? Why, yes, I am. If somebody tells you you're a god, what's your response? Why, thank you. Yes, I am. That's all the readings I'm going to do for today, guys. If you want a reading, by the way, go to my website, scottallenroberts.com. Click on the tarot link there. And as a matter of fact, I'll just put that link up so you can see it. If you want a full reading, like a 5-card or a 10-card reading, go over to my website. Here. Copy. And boom. You go right there. You'll see $45 for a 5-card reading, $85 for a 10-card. They usually take about 45 minutes to an hour and a half sometimes. Steph's had a couple of readings from me, so she can tell you how they go. Those longer readings. And so there you are, folks. If you want to get a reading, go hit the PayPal link over there on my website. Buy the one you want and message me. I'll get a message into my PayPal anyway. And we'll set up a time. There you go. Hey, field guy. Good to see you, brother. I wondered if you were going to be here this morning. Morgan So says, well, that's a lot to think about. So no motionless since my hubby left. Morgan, how long's it been since hubby passed away? It's only been a matter of months, hasn't it? Oh, you know what? Steve asked if I could do one for him. So I'll do just one more today. I missed that earlier, Steve. I'll do one for Steve as well. So how long's your husband been gone now? And I know these things are tough. Stuff like that can really... If Raini passed away, what do you think my life would be like? It'd be busy because I have kids at home. What if she were to pass away? I think that would mess me up for a long time. I'd feel held 11 months, so almost a year. Might be time. Be time to have something new break you out of that. Not that you should forget anything, but you should feel like there's something new to push toward. Anniversary's next month, she says. Steve Clark, this is for you. I'm going to shuffle up for you. Steve Clark in Kansas. And one more shuffle for Steve. Steve, if you were here, we were sitting across the table looking at each other, I'd have you take and cut this deck for me. So I'm going to do that for you. And do a little minor shuffling up as we do it. Boom, 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 boom. You ready? Here's your card, Steve. You have the 7 of coins. Now, coins is that suit of your material well-being. It's the stuff that you put in that will manifest something. It's the nuts and bolts of life that makes life work for you. It can be the material things. It can be money. The presence of the coins speaks to money. It's not materialism, but it is material well-being. And the things that are as I just mentioned, the nuts and bolts that make life work for you. And so if we get to this particular card, I want you to see something here. She is watering plants. It's like she's got her gardening table, her planting table there. And she is watering plants, and then behind her, all these vines growing with the coins in them. And this is a card about balance. It suggests that you will avoid failure at all costs, but you fall short of a runaway success in some kind of endeavor that you're engaged in. Equally possible is that you're going to achieve your goals, but not in the time frame you'd hoped for. The idea here, if you look at her, she's watering seedlings. When we plant a seed, we go, success. I have planted the seed. I am watering it. Some weeks go on. I've got a shoot coming up, and I keep watering it and feeding it and so on. It's time. It takes time for things to get to where you want them to be. You're going to face setbacks. And you're going to have to take care to avoid becoming hesitant or timid about doing something because the progress might be slow or difficult. And so delays in your projects have been affecting you internally. But don't lose any hope over them, or don't lose sleep over them, is the idea. It's your perseverance. You're daily watering the plant to watch it grow. That brings the success. And a long period of hard work that you're currently in is going to bring a lot of personal growth and achievement for you. But it's taken time. Sometimes you think too much time. And the path is going to be long, it says. The rewards, however, are going to be great if you can continue without losing your vigor and your determination to make something work. So this represents perseverance in your occupation or your business. It's associated with success, but through your slow, steady growth. Suggests you're going to have to wait a long time for your reward. How long between planting an apple seed and actually biting into an apple off of that tree has to go by? It takes a while. But the reward comes. And it might be held up if you're not working to your full potential on something, or recognizing that your full potential is wrapped up in time. It's not a clear answer of any kind of outcome on anything. It's just saying if you put in the effort and you nurture it along the way, it's going to mean something for you. And you're going to see abundance from that. There you go, Steve. And that's your singular card reading for the day. So, so stick to it. It's time. It's effort. It's setbacks. The setbacks, though, you look at the setbacks and you go, it's a setback. Now what do? I move forward. I keep going. And you don't let the externals or the slow points wrap you up, is the idea. Okay, there you go. There you go, folks. Hope that was meaningful, Steve. I hope that helped a little bit. Mean something. Wesley, good morning. How you doing? Good to see you. I got the inferiority complex card, but it's not that good. I'm done with the readings now, Wes. Maybe I'll catch you sometime this week or next Sunday. And I got to be done. I got to wrap those up. So there you go. Helene Moody says, missing the absence of his finer moments, but not the appalling ones. More in love with him now than when we parted in late October last year. Yikes. That's what art's for. Pour it into goodness. Well, there you go. Helene says, the reason I'm interested in the tarot set is because the 9 of Cups Scotty pulled is the portrait mistakenly put to my father's ancestor, Sir William Ascough, at Anne Boleyn's trial. Oh, it's Cromwell. Oh, now that's interesting. The 9 of Cups. Interesting. Very interesting. I have to look at that again when I pull it out. Helene, by parted with your husband, do you mean separated or do you mean death? I was curious. I'm getting that you're saying just a separation. So, Steve, you're welcome. Not that it's any of our business, Helene. I'm just curious. So, Steve Clark says, yes, sir, that's what's going on. There you are. Lucky Stone, good to see you. Nice to have you in here. And I'm about ready to wrap it up. It's 10:40 in the morning. My youngest daughter is going to bug me about going to Teddy Bear Park as soon as I open that door. So we might get out there today. We might not. We'll see what the day goes like. Do I want to pack up everybody and head to Teddy Bear Park? Not high on my list today, but we may end up doing that. So there you go. So listen, folks, I appreciate the fact that you would take your time to come over here, spend it with me on a Sunday morning of all times. Don't you have better things to do? Hopefully not. It's nice to have you here. Spread the word if you want people to come in and have a good time. Nobody called in today, so we didn't have anything to talk about. And with anybody other than what's in the chat room. So Steph says, I keep getting the circle of death. What's the circle of death? But I'm still here. What's the circle of death, Steph? Are you talking like the black spot in the palm of your hand, or what? What is it exactly? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Thanks, Corey Blake. You have a great day too. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Yeah, exactly, Helene. And I've said this before on this show. The death card. If you get the death card, it doesn't mean physical death. It means the end of a cycle. It means an ending to something that is inevitable, that is unchanging. You can't change death. You can't cheat death. It's the idea. So it's something's coming to an end, and it opens the doorway to new life. Something new. So Matt Finn says, have an awesome day, everyone. Hope you're all blessed with great prosperity and abundance today and every day. Same to you, Master Finn. So there you go. And to you too, Elderberry. Everyone live long and prosper. Exactly. And so I think I will take us out on that same note as prompted by Elderberry. You know what? We'll see you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Till then, live long and prosper.